That's fair.
or commonize it towards current times
Yeah, there's
of
not a lot
the
of
year
like adjacent.
4000s.
There's not a lot of adjacent names for Xavier.
I mean, there's Xavier, and then there's like X Xavier, I guess.
Is he in a wheelchair?
He is not.
Thank
yet.
God.
Frank slash Fen,
But I
Yes.
do have a
as
gun. So
as the person in charge of internal IT of your company, you have access to literally everyone's computer, basically, even including some permissions to your boss's computer.
he's the IT guy?
While he
Uh-huh.
is the internal IT guy.
I would have
Haven't done
pictured
that before.
Xavier for, Zeroji for that role. Interesting.
Zeroji is in charge of programming for most of the departments.
Oh, okay. So
Well,
Fenn's
technically,
the
Zach is in
lackey IT
charge.
guy. I see.
Eliza is in charge of the external IT.
Are we just an IT company? Is that what it is?
You are a programming and IT company. You sell both, basically, your company, as Xavier, future Xavier built it, is basically not needed in the slightest in this day and age. But
Perfect.
it was a fun
Perfect
thing
way.
that as a group you guys decided on, and you've been able to make money on it. Basically,
I
you sell programs and your work as IT to keep those programs up and active and going. Zeroji or Zach has his own entire department to make these programs, while Frank basically is the one that continues to maintain them, but also any hardware that goes along with these programs that Frank and Zach come up with is the responsibility of Eliza at that point to then go out and fix. Xavier, you just kind of sit pretty and boss them all around.
saw I'm not the both HR and sales team then.
You are more specifically just the CEO that came up with the idea.
Or do people like contact the company in order to like get business or whatever?
You can have whatever portion of the job you want. You are the boss.
I don't trust any of these. Okay, maybe I trust Eliza. I don't trust either of the other two fucks making sales because I know the second that happens, money is gonna get laundered through this company
If that
immediately.
is the case, then you have at some point informed Frank and Zach to bring their projects to you, and you are the one that then sells them. You might even have your own sales portion of the office that's set up to help you with this.
Okay, I just know. Like crime will happen if this goes unwatched.
That's just rude.
Is it wrong?
Back to the main part of this, though. Frank, before Fenn's personality took over, having basically access to everyone's PCs and all of their software and everything like that, Frank was setting up a prank for Eliza and Zach. Frank, or Fen in this case, I will get back to you if you want to think up of even something simple as a prank that you would have done to them, especially since when Fen took over. Hey, it loaded. Cool. Basically, Frank, think up a prank. Eliza and Zach, or in this case, Liz and Zeroji, you two have just been pulled over, and Eliza, you've seen them around every now and then, but watching one get out of a flying, floating, hovering vehicle that is obviously way too big for this girl, like you're not sure how she even sees over the dash, and in fact, she might not. She might just be piloting it on autopilot. Uh, this woman barely stands above maybe like 4.5 feet. She's not a halfling, but she is walking up to you as you have just been pulled over. Eliza and Zach, you are aware of what you have available in the car. Something else that you also have extra is the car does have basically a quick service that you could actually get in contact with someone if you wanted. You each do have your own phones in this case that you can also get in contact with someone if you wanted, but you don't have much time. She is walking up to the vehicle now.
I should have been putting more thought into what to do at this point.
Yeah, I gave you so much time.
Quick question: how familiar are these cops with like magic occurring, or is that not common knowledge?
Zach is not aware of how familiar they may or may not be. Again, this is in Zeroji is having a bit of a shock with this, but in the years leading up to this, technology is basically taken over for magic. Magic hasn't dispersed, but considering most mundane people, even if they knew a little bit of magic to basically help out their lives, like, someone would randomly just know prestidigitation or things like that to basically make their lives a bit easier. That stuff has been taken over by technology at this point. Higher ranking mages and basically magic or even higher skilled positions of martial arts and whatnot have begun to die out pretty early on into this history because technology has started to take over for all of it. All because of the person that was leading civilization towards this endgame.
So if this cop somehow got a splitting headache, they would not deduce that it's from a spell.
Why don't you give me a perception check since you are scoping out this cop?
How about an investigation check?
Well, you already know that she's short.
Well, you know what? We'll take the perception check. That's fine.
Okay. Are you sure you want to go with a perception check?
Yeah, we'll go with the perception check.
You could have swore that you, not even hours ago, had just left this woman back at a castle in your past.
Ah.
And as she gets a few feet closer, you definitely identify her as pretty much looking exactly like that little woman that you had captured and brought back to the castle in Arkenton.
Anna, not Annie. I think. Anna, yes.
Yeah, it was Anna.
Correct.
And is the proper term to greet these as officer?
Well, let's back up a bit. Are you giving up on the spell, or are you still casting it?
Oh, no, I was curious if they would recognize that as a magic attack against them sourced from me or not.
It's hard to say. She does walk as if she carries some authority, which is kind of funny considering her small stature, but she does walk with authority.
Murphy.
Alright, we'll just hold the spell in my back pocket until we need it. That's kind of like plan D at this point. Or actually, it's plan H for headache.
H for headache.
Yes.
Liz, or whichever you prefer to be called at this point, Liz, do you want to do anything, or are you just waiting for her to come up to your window?
You said there was a thing for like rotated assistance or whatever, I think you said? Or what was it?
The console in the middle of the dashboard has the capabilities of, basically all of the normal stuff, music, things like that, but it can also make video calls or even just voice calls if you so choose. Same with, you do both have cell phones on your person capable of the same, obviously.
Okay. Probably gonna try and do something that I'm really bad at, and that's lie.
I will assist. I can help you with that.
You hear a couple raps against the glass of your vehicle.
I roll down the window.
My name is Officer Ray. Do you know why I stopped you?
Not really. No. Why was it?
You were doing 15 over the speed limit. Are you aware of the penalties for speeding in this district?
I didn't realize that. I might need to take my car, and speedometer wasn't saying that.
Were you not driving under the AI assisted programming?
Been a while since you took your car in for maintenance, hasn't it? Might be on the fritz again.
It must be.
I guess give me a deception check with advantage.
I'm gonna flash a genius myself.
Holy
If I can do
shit,
that.
dude!
So a +6 to that. If I'm able to use flash a
17.
genius.
+0.
I will add like a short shower of sparks coming out of the air conditioning unit with prestidigitation to kind of like back up this.
Seems like your car is sparking. This could be an issue of an explosion. I need you both to get out of your vehicles, please.
Of course,
Alright.
I will exit the vehicle in a normal,
Same.
non-suspicious fashion.
I will
She
do the
backs up
same
to
while
allow you out.
I was gonna say I'm gonna wait until she is out of the way so I don't hit her with the door.
I assume I'm on the passenger side, she's on the driver's side.
Correct. Stand to the side over there. I will inspect. She hops in the driver's seat and then takes a device out of her belt and plugs it into your vehicle. Liz, you are aware through Eliza's memories that your vehicle is actually pretty well maintained.
Hmm. I'm gonna use Mage Hand to unplug some of the wires under the hood.
Do you have to be able to see those wires in order to do so with Mage Hand?
I don't think so.
I think you can cast Mage Hand where you can see.
Spectral floating hand appears at a point you choose within range. The hand lasts for the duration until he dismisses an action. The hand vanishes if it is ever more than 30 feet away from you or if you cast the spell again. You can use your action to control the hand. You can use the hand to manipulate an object, open an unlocked door or container, store or retrieve an item from an open container, pour the contents out of a vial. You can move the hand up to 30 feet each time you use it. The hand can attack, activate magic items, or carry more than 10 pounds. Telekinetic. So no, nothing about sight.
Yeah.
I'm going to proceed to fuck up the car internally.
I need you to give me just a general intelligence check.
Oh, I'm good at those.
This is basically you are scraping Zach's memory to figure out literally anything you can figure out about cars to maybe put your
23.
mage hand where a wire would be. 23. Alright. You see her fiddling with this device. You are aware that it is definitely able to check up on the entire system of a vehicle. And as she's fiddling with it, she's just about to unplug it as a wire gets pulled, and the device, whatever it was monitoring at some portion of it, just goes completely black. And she looks at it, looks at the car, taps the device a little bit, unplugs it, plugs it back in, waits for the test to finish again, and then she gets out and says, "Your vehicle is currently undrivable. How did you get here?"
Oh, good God.
I guess we're lucky you pulled us over when we did. was at least running before.
Really saved our bacon.
Yeah, thank you.
Given the rarity of the circumstance, I will forego giving you any punishment due to your speeding. However, where do you want to be taken? I will escort you there.
I will give our company's address.
Okay, get into the back of the car. She is not
Okay.
cuffing you, but she is opening the door and requesting that you both get into the back of her vehicle.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to plug that wire back in and then get into the car.
She,
Because she put away her device that was testing the vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
she closes up Eliza's car, and makes sure it's locked and everything before she hops into, and I do mean hops into the driver's seat of her car, and Liz and Zach both, you basically see she barely has eyesight over the dash, and she starts proceeding to drive, and it's a bit shaky at first, but then it becomes normalized, and then she just turns on the AI anyways, as she seemingly was attempting to drive on her own, but then just gave up on that prospect because she just can't see over the dash very well. And you two are escorted to work, where she proceeds to let you out of the vehicle and says, "Your vehicle will be towed," and she gives you a basically a card that fills in the details when plugged into your cell phone or any other machine capable of pretty much a USB stick, for lack of a better term at this point. It has the details of where it's getting towed to and when you can pick it up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You're welcome. Enjoy your work. And she gets back in the vehicle and drives off.
Wow.
Whew, good thinking there.
Let's get inside before anything else happens.
Xavier, you see your two extremely late employees walk through the door.
Did I only see them lock the door? I can't see outside, and like the fact that they showed up in a police vehicle.
You saw all of that transpire. You're unless you want your office to be completely closed off, you have windows easily capable of seeing to the outside.
Glad you guys were able to show up.
Frank
That's,
also saw all of this too, so
Very interesting method of transportation you decided to show up to work in today.
Car travels.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We got a new job. A new work came in today.
Oh yeah?
I'll show them the slip of paper. I'm gonna guess they have not seen what it says yet.
well, it's not necessarily a slip of paper. It was something.
Well, I guess I don't know how we received
A
it.
ticket on your system, sir.
It could be printed off.
It could be printed off. Did you print it off?
I hope he
Alright.
did, just
For
to be
the
like one of
bit.
those old-fashioned folk.
For the bit, I'll say yes. How far back do I have to go to figure this shit out? The ticket says, "You're cordially invited to meet Emperor Dark."
I have to interrupt just a little bit. So I worked as a PC tech for 3 years. There was a couple people in my department that would print off their tickets.
Why?
I don't fucking know. We had laptops, and anywhere we were, as long as we were in within the network, we could access the ticket. I have no idea why they printed them off. It was such a shocking thing to see.
That's funny.
For the first like year or two, my company would mail out to all the service techs a pamphlet with a list of all of our preventative maintenance tickets that we're due in the next couple of months, once a month.
What the fuck?
That's crazy.
That's an
I always just
email.
find it absurd when any computer-based company does anything that requires printing out their workflow.
Yeah, we only
It's-
print like contracts, and that's because we work with old people, so that we sell the contracts too. And we have the option for electronic.
Yeah, they stopped doing that a long time ago, but it was something that they used to do. And even then, it was on a spreadsheet on the our web portal, so there was no reason for it.
Jesus.
I will not defend Xavier's actions. I'm sure I'm still, as Xavier, trying to cope with the fact that what's happening right now is happening.
So basically, Eliza and Zach were both brought into Xavier's office pretty immediately as he flagged them down to bring them into the office. I guess sort of scold them about their work and then show them the printed ticket from some source that is claiming to have an invitation from Emperor Dark.
Anybody else see really suspicious timing on a trap here, or is it just me?
If I were to hazard a guess, I'd say we were already in a trap.
Yeah, it doesn't. It sounds fishy. That's for sure.
Not sure if you picked up on the situations, Zoroji, but we're not exactly in Valehelm anymore.
You can't prove that. Well, I mean, we're not, but
Why you are doing that?
Click your red shoes together. Maybe you'll get back.
there's no place like home.
Thank you.
Considering where we are, we probably should keep with the names from here.
Is there any more information on the ticket other than just that? Like a location or anything?
There seems to be an IP address.
We're an IT company. My experience leads me to believe we can probably use that information to our advantage.
Yes. Generally, that is the case if you have an IP address.
I'm the face of the company. I'll let you guys do the dirty work.
It's okay. I don't mind sneaking in back doors.
I'm sure.
My goodness.
I understand there's a layered statement. It's all good.
It was just there. I mean, it was low hanging,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
it was there.
It was there. It was good. Who thinks that? Actually, we can just. You can all have access to this and work on it. I don't know what you guys need to do to get that uncovered, or figure out where that might lead.
Eliza, you're aware that you have lost your work vehicle for the day.
Is our company vehicle available?
That's a good question.
That was
sure.
the company, one of the company vehicles.
I mean, that was one of them, but I, myself, and Frank showed up somehow, so I'm sure there's another one.
Yeah, but you two
Unless
don't
they-
actually need to show up in a company vehicle. You two show up in your actual vehicles because you're not the techs going out to the jobs.
Even
Technically,
better.
Eliza doesn't often go out either, so. But she's still designated one.
It's the old one that only kind of works. It's been needing some repairs for like 6 months, but we just got a new one, so it's been on the back burner.
Granted, Eliza is mostly in charge of dispatch, so she could also oversee trying to figure out where this IP address came from too, if she so chose.
I don't exactly have a car right now, so can't I could probably try and look into it.
All right.
And where exactly are we gonna go? I guess. Do we have any other active work we need to handle at the moment so we can pretend like we're still working here?
Well,
You own the company.
Your
you don't really.
company.
Yeah, but I don't actually have this information. I'm asking the DM, not you guys. What the fuck?
You don't really, but yes, everyone else still has tickets that they handle on the daily.
I'm just picturing there's a little mini putt set up in the corner that Xavier could be using while he's waiting for us to do this.
Here, let's see if I know how to backtrace an IP address. What do I need to roll for that?
Give
Don't say
me
intelligence.
Computers.
Give me an intelligence check.
Can Liz just sit here and watch him while with her arms crossed, kind of just smirking as he's
Frank.
I'm gonna screen cap this.
Fen/Frank, did you allow your prank to then encompass your boss as well?
It's one thing pissing off your coworkers. It's a completely different thing pissing off your boss. So yes.
I hadn't connected Beyond yet, but I did take a screen cap as proof if we need it.
So yes, you did connect his
Wait back a
into.
sec.
Well, I connected
So,
it now.
yes,
like, it's
but-
connected now. But that's a much worse roll.
But it's something very, very unique considering he's got the little putt-putt thing there. I put a film over the hole, so the ball just won't go in.
All right. That doesn't stop his ability to try to backtrace this IP address.
No, it does not.
Xavier, what you find is that you should definitely outsource this to one of your IT or Zach.
When he's not good enough.
Your role is good enough to figure that you don't know how to do it.
Perfect. I'm gonna assume Zoroji's the reason that there was a police officer involved with their arrival, and I'm gonna make him do it.
he's the reason we were late in the first place.
This is true. All right, Zoroji, we'll need an intelligence check from you then.
D?
He's dead.
He's not alive.
He's dead, Jim.
He's dead.
Unfortunate.
He's frankly just deceased.
But I'm
That would have
Frank.
been funnier if that was Frank, yeah. Oh, is that someone coming back or is that someone leaving?
Who knows?
Oh, he's getting his sleep in so he can get his spells back.
I'm back.
oh, I didn't even know you left.
You didn't say you left, man.
I did. I said I'll be right back.
Hmm.
Was it muted
Well-
whenever you said it?
No, I haven't been muted this entire time.
None of us
Backtrace
heard it,
the IP.
sir.
Trace the IP address.
Tracing.
Or
Give me an intelligence check.
intelligence check if you know how to. I don't know which one it is.
Oh no, Xavier would be a peck typer. Fuck.
You actually use chopsticks.
That's just ridiculous. Though I do feel like to try to be like hip, I would try to use chopsticks on food that do not require it, like French fries.
Combing through Zach's memories, you remember going through some instances of classes pertaining to this back in university, but it's not something you've had to practice in a while since you're more about like just the making of the programs, not tracking them or anything like that. You are aware when you try to track this one though that it seems like it's being filtered somehow. Like you're not actually getting the real ping from where it should be coming from.
Guys, he's using Norton VPN.
It's Nord,
There's
but
both. Both exist, I think.
yeah, but one of them you don't ever use.
Well,
Nobody uses
I
that
mixed Nord and Proton. I use Proton.
because Norton is just bad. But you use NordVPN so that you can play Raid Shadow Legends without others knowing.
It's true.
Holy shit, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Is that to say you play Raid Shadow Legends now, Reaper?
No, but I've been free to play on Diablo Immortal a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
I don't trust that shit.
I
It
imagine
is.
you've been stopped at the legendary gem thing like everyone else.
Yes. What the fuck are you doing?
What is with
He's
that backfill?
Oh,
probably
hang on.
trying to use a air can to blow
I
out some shit.
appreciate you muting now. No, there is a very obvious like, hey, spend money block on free to play,
Mhm.
and that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Gameplay wise, not bad. Recommended gameplay, yes. That's about it.
If I wanted to play that game for the gameplay, I'd just play Diablo 3. I mean,
I'd rather
I've
just
got-
wait until Diablo 4.
I've got a friend that basically never touches their computer but plays mobile games, so it kind of that's why I was playing.
fair.
I know those
As a
skills.
mobile game, it does seem interesting, but I don't really play games on my phone that often.
Fair.
I got V into Genshin.
Nice. It's pretty fun.
It was like my backhanded last recommendation of games that we could co-op, and he's like, "Let's go with that one." And I'm like, "But there were all these other ones." And now he realized how bad Genshin's co-op is.
Yeah.
It's not good, unfortunately.
Yeah. My co-op things so far have been the We Were Here games. We played It Takes Two, and we just did a Soul Link Nuzlocke run, which was fun.
You could also do Divinity.
Already played the second one, and the first game's not really. I guess I haven't played it. Tried to play it with two people yet.
The first game, it's hard for me to get into it after having, and this isn't a fault of Reaper's, but Reaper and I co-opted with another buddy of ours, and I've done this like 3 times now. So when every time we co-op Divinity 1, we get to the first town, and then I'm just stuck there not doing anything for a while because Reaper and my buddy and the other buddy just steal literally everything in the town as I'm busy setting up a smithing shop.
Yo, yeah, that's fucking crazy and ridiculous. I don't know any friends who do that. Gabe.
Sold everything that wasn't nailed down.
And then it just like became my job to make our best
This-
fucking weapons every tier.
This motherfucker stole something out of someone's pocket, sent it to my inventory so he didn't get caught, and then I got caught with it.
I didn't have the thieving skill. That was Chris.
You're both the same person. I don't give a shit. You're both doing dumb
Also,
shit.
you're the dumbass that is just like, hey, hang on, I'm going to talk to this person, don't touch anything, and then we fight 5 enemies. I'm like, give me a minute.
Like, just because you're able to sneak out of combat does not make you better than me in that situation.
Oh, this is wonderful.
We all got caught doing dumb shit.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start looking it up. Or at least trying to.
Actually, finishing the rest of Zeroji's aspect of it. Fen, was there anything to do with Zeroji's computer or no?
Not with the computer, but whenever he sat in his chair, he fell on his ass. I undid the base from the top.
Oof. I don't know, man. He's only got wizard HP. You might have killed him with that.
Am dead.
I'm just dead. Oh,
Especially
well.
since he's basically
Ooh.
just in the body of a commoner right now.
Tell me you haven't fallen out of a chair once?
I haven't actually fallen out of any, like, computer chairs, no. I have fallen out of, like, a dining room chair.
Yeah, that's about the same.
Practically the same chair,
Alright. if you guys are sharing information, then Liz, you can roll your intelligence check with advantage.
Yeah, my information was that I can't do this, so someone else has to do it.
I am CEO. Do you guys do it?
I tried, or at least I tried to
And
think
I'll-
about trying.
I'll also flash a genius that, so that's a 25.
25. All right. You trace the source to actually a bit off-world. It seems like the IP is pinging from a ship in orbit right now.
I relay this.
When you say in orbit, like, I'm assuming I understand what that means as Xavier, but not Xavier.
You do understand what it means as future Xavier, but no, not as past Xavier.
F Xavier, not P Xavier.
Y'all
Correct.
tell me we got motherfucking boxes that can fly off the Earth. What the hell is this? Interesting. Do
Also,
we have a ship for the company?
on Liz's PC, it starts about a minute in after login, and then every 10 seconds the caps lock is toggled.
Oh, that's rude.
Yeah.
Liz, as you're going through your programs trying to log into some stuff, every now and then, like when you're just going about your normal business, you close out of a tab, relog back into it, and you just have to put your password. You just keep getting some random error every time your password is wrong. You look down and your caps lock just continues to be on. You look down again after a little bit and it actually toggles itself off.
Joke's on you. Our company doesn't use case-sensitive passwords.
Oh wow.
That sounds incredibly dangerous.
No.
No, RuneScape doesn't use case-sensitive passwords. Fun fact.
Did your account get stolen?
No, I use a 26-character password, which not as strong without case sensitivity, but
At least, as long as it allows numbers and letters, you're okay a little bit, I guess.
it does.
Because I'm assuming if it doesn't allow case sensitivity, it also doesn't allow special characters. Either way, beyond just that, you all already have biometrics to also log into your PCs. So I didn't announce this to Frank, or else he probably would have messed with those a little bit too, maybe. But yeah, you have basically most of the cutting edge stuff that would, secure your systems, and it's part of why your company is more on the popular side anyways, despite, IT companies in general not being necessarily a requirement in a very AI controlled world. Liz or Eliza, as you hunt down further details about this ship, you do find that it is a cruiser, not like a battle cruiser or anything like that. It is a cruise ship, more along the lines of like a Disneyland cruise ship type of deal. It is meant for basically tourists and the like, and it's titled Cruise with the Emperor.
Sounds like the worst place to go.
Does this sound like it's one of those tourist trap things where it's just a guy that's dressed up like the emperor and it's just they're trying to sell it? And it's
It
not
definitely
actually the emperor?
sounds like you got a spam ticket that filtered into your system somehow.
Fantastic.
Interesting. that seems like a dead end unless we want to actually try and go there. But it doesn't sound worth it. And I don't know how we would get there.
I mean, unless we're going to try to avoid him, feel like we should try to talk to the Emperor.
I doubt he's on a cruise ship that's named Fly with the Emperor. Or Cruise with the Emperor.
He seems like he might be someone that's a little self-absorbed. I could see him probably doing this.
Unless he knows that we know that he wouldn't be there, so he's actually there.
I mean, he obviously wants to talk to us.
I know you said that as a joke, but the fact that Xavier is now giving it any sort of serious thought is kind of confusing me.
Yeah.
I was kind of ignoring that statement because I didn't follow it.
Okay.
I now even no longer remember what I was saying.
How did you become CEO again? Oh yeah, I just kind of said Xavier was a CEO.
This is on you.
This is on me. I have ideas of what most of you do for actual jobs right now, so that's why I went with it. I don't actually know what Will does.
Not lead.
And I needed a leadership role for the company, so I'm like, fuck this, he's a leader now.
Fair enough.
You
Unless
are
he's
aware,
actually
paladins
testing
are
us.
usually seen as the leaders, right?
I can try to play leader, but I'm not like
Well, I'm
naturally
not
one.
forcing you into the role at all. That's whatever you want to be. I just needed to
Yeah.
come up with roles for these people.
I do in both campaigns I've done under Kit, have become like a de facto group leader. But I think it's just because everyone's too sporadic.
Because you're all dumbasses.
Yeah, that's
I
basically
love
the short
all
of
of
it.
you, but Jesus Christ, it's hurting cats.
That is.
Are you saying they can't just go into random rooms and launch fireballs to solve all their problems?
I would love if they did. It would make them predictable. No, one of them got arrested and decided to just, like, escape prison and go hang out with a demon for a while.
Demon they watched try to murder somebody that we had gotten to know pretty closely.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It was something that definitely happened.
Wow.
I don't know why, but it did.
So, as Zach is fixing his chair, and Eliza is fixing her own little IT issue right now, Xavier, you see, for lack of a better word, just like a bum that seems to be walking up to your glass doors again.
Bomb.
A bum.
Somebody's
A
ass.
Just a pair of cheeks walking down the
I
street.
thought you
Just
said,
a pair of cheeks. They're rather hot,
straight
man.
up thought you said a bomb. And I was so concerned. Like, I know how to handle this right now. I can't.
You have one of you delegate. That's the thing that leadership does.
I will go out and try to talk to him as I'm walking away. I'll say, figure out if there's anything we're missing or if there are any hints with the thing. I'm gonna go handle just general referencing at him this. And then I'll go try to talk to the guy and see what he's trying to do.
He's not supposed to be here.
Also, do I have an open and closed sign on the door? Or is it just a door?
Just a door. You're not an actual like walk-in company in that sense. You're not
Yeah,
selling
that's why I'm
wares
concerned
in that
about the
sense.
bum walking up. I didn't imagine we would, but I was wondering why the bum thought I could just walk into this building. So I'll go talk
There
to
are absolutely customers that walk in, but for the most part, they're there because of a scheduled meeting.
Yeah. All right, what's the homie got?
He walks up to you and says, "Might you spare some food?"
Oh god, do we have any food in that company?
Is it legal to give bums food in this world?
No.
It is illegal, or it is not?
It is illegal to give bums food in this world, especially if you can identify them as being from the slums district.
Son of a bitch.
Search your memories. What do you normally do in this situation?
I'm feeding him, obviously.
Is that what you usually do?
I'm curious.
Wait,
Is that what I would
wait.
normally do?
We can't give food to him because he's a bum. But if he's a temp worker for the day, it would be okay if he went into the office and ate food.
I could
And
even
this is
give
how
him
you
some money for
guys
his work.
Ah,
came upon a loophole in the
yeah.
law.
I like this way of thinking right here. Let's break the law for the good of mankind.
We're not breaking the law. I want to be very clear in saying out loud, we are not breaking the law.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not comfortable with the terminology. Let's bend the rules a little bit.
In my mind, we breaking the law. That's what makes it okay for me.
Just don't say it out loud because I'm sure that there are
I'm
ever-present ears.
I'm thinking it
everywhere.
intently.
Don't do that either. He can read your
This
mind.
seems like a conversation that would have happened in the past already, in future Xavier's conversation.
Part of why
Unless
you keep
Frank
getting
isn't a
bums
criminal.
walking up to your part of why you keep getting bums walking up to your door is because the story has spread about how nice you guys are to bums.
Perfect.
Here's your laminate for being a temp worker.
Unfortunately, we don't have any spare food today, but if you've got a little time, we have a little bit of stuff that could be help. I could use a temporary worker for the day if you've got a little extra time. Usually that comes with some compensation that is food as well. I say to the bum.
He's taking a while to process this.
I'll let him think about it. I'm not in a rush.
I think so.
Perfect. Come on inside. I'll get you a ID right away. A temporary guest ID right away.
Okay.
I'll lead him inside. And I'll basically just point out any random trash that we have laying around the floor for any reason and tell him to gather up any trash he sees and just put it in a bucket I place in the middle of the room that's supposed to be a trash can. Or a trash can. I'm assuming there's one somewhere.
There's the big trash can, and then the trash can is at everybody's desk. And he just empties the trash cans at everybody's desk into the big trash can. I don't know about you, but I don't have just shit on my floor. I put it in a trash can. Trash go in trash can.
I'm sure
You
there's
would be
literally
surprised at some people at work, man.
I'm sure some
tidy
people
space.
they're sure there's some trash somewhere.
Yeah, in the trash can. And the little ones at everybody's desk.
Then I will have him take all of the small trash cans and put them into one big one. I'm gonna have him do something.
Is trash legal in the future?
Legal? What the fuck kind of question is that?
Unfortunately, there has not been a way to abolish trash. So yes,
Excellent.
it is still
I'm
legal.
hoping we just send it off into the sun. Well, the nearest star, not necessarily the sun, I suppose.
Or black
I
hole.
mean, if we could do that, we would just if as a company, if that's what we did, we could just rig ourselves to get shot into the spaceship.
I disagree with this.
I disagree with this.
You can be shot into the spaceship.
I'm 50-50 on whether or not this is a dream right now anyway, so
The rest of your days go by pretty easily, handling tickets left and right, Liz dispatching who she needs to, where she needs to. The bum comes back after about a couple hours because he was just kind of meandering. He almost threw out Zach's chair because it wasn't fully put together yet and it was on the floor.
I'll keep an eye on
the
him to
broken
make sure he
portion of
doesn't
that.
throw away anything he doesn't need to throw away.
Broken. It can be put back together.
I mean,
I
he
just
doesn't
took
know
the
that.
bolts out. Okay, yeah, he doesn't know.
Probably already threw away a couple of the screws.
Actually, no, I'm not gonna keep a close eye on him. While he's doing that, I'm just going to get some food and water put together that we have probably in the building somewhere. Or if we don't have any, I'll just give him my lunch. I don't fucking care.
And about midway through the day, as he runs out of things to do, he walks back up. Considering you are basically the only person that has talked to him, he walks back up to your office doors and just kind of waits out there.
If I've gotten the food put together at this point, I will sit him down at a table and give him, what kind of currency does this future have?
Credits. Everything is on credit chips.
There's no
Alright.
hard cash.
No hard cash.
What is the minimum wage?
Oh, something ridiculous.
Like ridiculously small?
Dude,
Or like
what-
stupid high?
what's like a beverage in terms of cost from not Starbucks?
This is the part where the world, as all of you are thinking of it right now, kind of bends in on itself in your own, in your past self's view. Because as you're trying to think of this and you're trying to reward this bum, you realize that the way money or food or most of the things are handled in this world, while you are paid for your services, it is still something that's highly regulated. So you don't actually have a way to physically pay this bum outside of giving them the food.
Perfect. Glad that everyone has a credit card now. I guess I'll pay him with the food and give him some extra to go on his way with.
I need all four of you to give me perception checks. You
26.
know, I don't know why I should ever really ask this. It's always just going to be Liz and Fen.
Yeah, yeah. The +9 and +11 versus the 1 and 0, real different.
A good roll too. Come on.
I mean, you did better than Zeroji.
Oh, I'm shit at perception checks.
Yeah,
I
he's
almost
worse.
had the highest flat roll.
But I will say, in this instance, Fen and Liz, you both notice this near immediately because it's not often you see a body being flung through the air from outside, coming hurtling at your building at breakneck speeds. But Xavier, towards the end, right as it's about to crash through a window, right into your lap almost, it does indeed crash through and lands right between Xavier and the bum. And then you see a little in the distance walking after it what seems to be, for lack of a better term to your future selves, a robot, but your past selves immediately try to identify it as a Warforged. And so your memories of each are kind of meshing in an in-between sort of thing. And it closes the gap and is at the entrance to the now broken window, or in this case, wall window, and says, "We are Nim. That person." And as you look at the corpse that is on the ground, it seems to be a person in uniform, a police uniform. And that uniform seems to look like that person seems to look like an officer that had pulled over Zach and Eliza earlier.
Oh fuck.
Nim, finishing its sentence, goes, "That person works for the Emperor. We must obliterate."
Sorry, this person works for me today.
I think he's talking about that.
The cop, not the bum.
Oh, what?
Sorry,
I'm spacey at the moment.
can you
So
do that not in here?
Do you work for the Emperor?
I work for Xavier.
I work for Xavier.
I
I'm
work for
Xavier.
Xavier.
Who do you work for, Xavier?
Myself. This is my company.
As Nim is talking to you, you hear a loud pop off in the distance, and you see a pinkish-looking projectile only momentarily as it blazes through Nim's head, and then Nim falls to the ground. And you hear the mumblings of a dying Nim go, "We have fought valiantly."
Did I see? Can I tell the general direction it came from?
It seems as if it is out of your view for specifics, but considering Nim was looking head on at you guys and the bullet passed through the side of Nim's head, it is probably off out of your range through or on a roof of some building somewhere else.
If I can get the bum somewhere that is not in a line of sight for that person who shot the bullet, love to get him pushed in that general direction.
Outside of you four, who are remarkably composed for what just happened in the brief span of a few seconds, the rest of your employees have immediately shot up, bolt upright, standing, and are just kind of looking around because you four haven't issued any commands yet. But when Nim also falls down dead at that point, they lose it. And all of your employees are trying to rush out of the building, either through the broken window that Nim's corpse is currently sitting at, or through the front door.
I'm gonna apply first aid to. Wait, did you say it's a corpse or are they still alive?
When you go to inspect said body of, I'm assuming the policewoman that you are inspecting, they are indeed a corpse.
Okay.
As you roll them over to look at their front, it looks like their innards are, for the most part,
Outers?
missing, as if disintegrated.
I'm gonna try to take on a commanding voice for everyone who's trying to run, and say, "Stop! Get deeper in the building and hide behind the walls, or hide under your desks or something."
Would you prefer to do this with an intimidation or a persuasion check?
Oh, it doesn't fucking matter, does it, huh? Let me check to see if I have whatever in either of those. Persuasion is. Oh, I'm not playing my other character. Sorry, I was thinking in terms of Galark, where my charisma is fucked. Okay, persuasion for sure.
All right. As you try to take command of the situation, give me that persuasion. Okay, you do not take command of the situation. They in fact
Wow.
panic more.
Oh,
Like 3 voice cracks.
Way to take charge there.
I tried my best. I'm supposed to be good at this.
I am breaking line of sight with windows.
Same.
Most of the building empties out, and because of that, you actually see off in the distance now from most of the employees that have scattered. There seems to be, and this is coming specifically from the direction of the slums district, a line of these Warforged / robotic entities, and you just hear an echo that says, "We are Nim. We have come to destroy the Emperor."
Are any of the employees who are rushing out of the building getting shot?
No.
Perfect. That's fine.
I've seen this movie.
Why is this
Which
I
one?
will
here?
give them the advice to tell the robots that they work for Xavier. Do not say they work for the Emperor.
As you say that, Zeroji, the bum in the middle of your office right now looks around and says, "That's a problem, because I need your help."
I'll turn away from Nim's and the policewoman's corpse. Turn and say, "Excuse you." What exactly do you need
He
help with?
attempts to stand a bit more regally, but kind of fails. He seems to be just like a bag of bones at this point. Very droopy face, and he goes, "You are from the past, are you not?
Do I recognize his face?
It takes you a bit.
'Cause I know
Actually,
what voice you're using.
have you seen him in a?
I have.
Have you seen him? I don't think you've seen him through any scries unless you paid attention in Milo's office.
Okay, that is not who I think it is.
Who I think it is.
You
Pending.
Is this-
gave the Emperor a job.
Is
under
this
the
King to
table.
Arc?
That's is this
It's legal. It's legal.
is this the king?
I am Emperor Dark, and I need your help.
Nope.
I'm gonna
Here I go
insight
stabbing again.
this. How believable is this bag of bones?
With that roll, he does seem pretty believable.
Do I recognize his face and everything from scrying him?
He looks by far less regal and powerful as he did back, 4,000 years ago, but he does still resemble that person.
At the very least, he seems to believe he is the Emperor.
You are going to have to explain yourself very quickly before I throw you out to Nims for trying to kill my brother.
If you throw me out, then I cannot help what would happen to this or any other worlds in the onslaught of Nim.
I mean, it seems like he's just after you.
He is
I-
after anything to do with my utopia.
I want to let him clarify because that sounds a little more pertinent than I would. I wish he didn't have a good point.
Let's at least make sure we're not near the windows and get out of sight first before
Oh
we
yeah,
continue this
good idea.
conversation.
Yeah, our priority needs to be getting out of here. Do we have like a back exit or something?
Yeah.
And then I would love to try to leave because that's a lot of people
Okay.
that will try to kill us if we protect him.
I'm grabbing the weapon out of my desk.
Let's pick up our car on the way.
Xavier and Frank, you two both have different vehicles. Would one of you like what vehicle would you guys like to have? You got your sporty, you got your trucks, you got your SUVs still, but most of them are of the more floaty variety. They just, they start floating and look more bubbly than actually, vehicular in this world.
We want to drive separately or together. Also, how many people can fit in a car?
Well, I'm partial to a two-wheeled vehicle. But that's personal preference.
If you're partial to a two-wheeled vehicle and that is what you bring, then hopefully Xavier has a larger vehicle.
I feel like the floated of vehicles will be more useful for going around specific types of terrain.
Well, even the two-wheeled vehicles are still floaty. They're just motorcycles that hover instead of have to be on the ground.
They're hover bikes.
Fair enough. Then yeah, if you want a motorcycle, buddy, you can have one. You're gonna be by yourself pretty much.
I mean, I could also hop in with you guys.
I just want it noted that Eliza and Zach have left their gun behind in the other car.
Well, we didn't have much choice.
And now Frank is I gave you plenty of time before she got to the window. I was trying.
I'm not gonna pull a gun when a cop's coming down.
You could take it out of the console and hide it. Not like she's gonna see over the windows.
I don't know what kind of infrared vision she's got.
It's the future.
You just put it in the prison wallet. It's fine.
Yeah, then it goes off and it's not fine.
That's why you unchamber it and put the safety on.
It's
Nope.
it's never unchambered and the safety's never on.
That's fine for now.
These okay. So the only person currently holding a weapon is Frank.
I mean, I thought I had my gun from my desk.
If you took it out of your drawer, yes.
Yeah, I will do that before we leave. Yeah.
Okay, now 2 people have weapons.
Fuck, I don't have time to prepare spells off your tattoos.
I don't think you would have tattoos.
He
I'm-
does have tattoos.
Do I?
You do.
How do you
Future
know?
him have tattoos?
That was one of my questions.
Okay.
Oh.
I was
Xavier
not
does have
informed of
tattoos.
my tattoos.
Xavier, you are a very tattooed person.
You are my spellbook.
Luckily, because you wear a business suit, they can usually be covered. So, while tattoos aren't really looked down upon negatively, it doesn't always give you the most business-like presentation.
You just got that Yakuza look. Like, if the suit's on, you look professional as fuck.
I'm a
The minute
fucking
you
mob
take your
boss.
shirt off, it's just like, oh boy.
Ugh. Words. I'll grab my gun, and we'll go find a vehicle. Can Fen, because I know he can disguise himself pretty well, do you have the capability of disguising other people? Or does Frank not have the tools to do that?
That would be part of the disguise kit, and yeah, I mean,
Rest do not have that.
that would be something that Frank would probably not have. The thieves' tools,
Does
maybe.
anybody does anybody conveniently have access to, like, I don't know, a makeup kit or something? I would call Liz out specifically, but I wouldn't put it past Zeroji either, so.
I will say you are aware of coworkers that do wear makeup. So even if you don't want to call out your own party, you could probably search through other people's desks. You probably have about a minute before the NIMS reach your building.
Yeah, but I don't want to take stuff from my employees.
I will also say that as you look outside, you do see a couple more shots take down those NIMS until a concerted effort by the NIMS focuses a mass amount of red beams at a particular building off in the distance, and you basically see an entire large chunk of a corner of that building just melt away.
We need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is time to leave. If neither of you guys have makeup, then we're just gonna go.
I'm going through I'm going through someone that I know has makeup in their desk and grabbing it. I have no
Stop!
problem stealing from other people.
If you can do it in the next minute and put that back, fine. Otherwise, you're leaving that here.
Oh, that's coming with me. We got to do this on the go. We can buy a replacement. It's fine.
I don't have time, unfortunately, to argue this with you, so we have to leave.
Luckily, employee parking is in the back lot, and as you take the back door out, Fen, you kind of give a look at your bike as Frank's personality for a moment and go, I'm gonna miss you. And then you hop into the vehicle with Xavier's.
Think about it this way: there's a lot less of a chance of it blowing up if we use this one instead. All right, let's go.
Alright, let's go.
I'm more likely to have it afterwards.
You guys said your vehicle was towed, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have the location for that?
We do.
Let's go there.
That was my first suggestion a while ago.
He did suggest it, yes.
Then let's do that then.
If I could suggest something. I have a spacecraft on the edge of the slums. If you can make it there, I could get us into orbit.
Are the two things in opposite directions?
They are.
Do we have to go
Fuck.
through a bunch of NIMS to get there?
I imagine there will be NIMS in any direction at this point.
True. I think it's worth a shot to at least see what kind of resistance we would be going through to get there.
Frank, either because of your ungodly high perception and being worried about the situation at hand right now, you look behind you and you see an extremely odd thing following you at this point. As you look behind you, you see like just a fusion of NIM robots that have fused into a vehicle and are now following you apace from a distance.
All right, let's go to the
Sure.
spacecraft.
Faster.
Let's go.
Faster.
Let's
Faster.
go to the spacecraft. We're going that way. Are there any weapons on the spacecraft?
It is sufficiently armed, yes.
Are there people there that are going to try to kill us? Us being not you, us.
There should not be anyone on the ship that would kill you, no.
Are there going to be people on
My-
the ship that will let us arm ourselves?
My many zeros should be of enough protection.
Or what?
Ah, perhaps you know them as Rays. I forget. It has been so many years.
Okay, let's.
Well, yeah, let's.
We must go faster.
I'm going faster. I'm just having this conversation as we speed up.
As you are attempting to go faster, it seems like the NIM mobile is keeping a pace still.
I'm gonna hand
fact-
Zeroji my gun and say, please prevent him from following us.
As you look behind you, you do actually see the NIM mobile appears to be catching up a little bit.
I'm gonna firebolt their wheels.
And I use some bullshit with my backstory and navigate using Street Urchin.
Where's the actual?
See, I gave you a gun so that you didn't have to cast magic.
Magic is free.
Gave the wrong person the gun, but also I'm gonna navigate.
Don't you have a gun?
He has
No,
a
I got a
dagger.
knife.
I'm gonna be-
forgot.
I'm gonna be doing finger guns.
To be fair, the
Well-
knife does have like a laser portion to it. It is a laser cutter, but still.
I will let you.
I
I will
will-
pass you the gun since he seems to be ignoring it instead.
I will fire.
No, wait.
Well.
I'm gonna give it to Liz. You work on disguising the guy. I don't know how long that takes.
So it depends
Yes,
if
you can
my
use your street urchin because
Okay.
you do still have Zach's memories of the place.
Okay, then I'm gonna pull that bullshit rather than use disguise right now.
Does 24 hit the wheel?
My God, I'm dropping the gun.
There is no wheel.
What do you mean there's... Oh, son of a bit. Okay, well, does a 24 hit something important?
A 24 does hit the vehicle, and you see the Nimmobile stutter off to the right a little bit, and then you see a part from a different portion of the vehicle take the place of that part.
Alright, cool. Well, I'm gonna be spending full time just chucking firebolts at this while they're driving.
We'll pick up
As
the gun and tell him to
you-
take the next left.
As this commotion happens and Xavier is quickly following Frank's studded.
Studded?
Studded?
Ribbed for his
Not the right
pleasure?
word. Not what I was going for. What is the word there? Stunted control navigation as he's trying to multitask at the moment. Zeroji, you dodge quickly back in right before your hand is melted off as a beam comes from the front of the Nimmobile.
Perfect.
Cool.
And this amalgamation of Nims into a Nimmobile begins to form more of that same weapon that created the beam at its front. Frank now leans out the window to also provide support fire.
Yeah.
If you want to
yeah.
give me an attack from range, you can do that.
Is it a +1 GAT?
No, it's just normal. You can still roll it anyways. You're fine.
Okay. Just Dex, right?
Yep, just a base range
Okay.
attack.
16.
Dexterity is the modifier you can use for it. 16?
Yeah.
Okay. You managed to clip one of the lasers as it is focusing energy, and it pops a couple of the other ones, but two others fire off and melt through the tail light of the right side of your vehicle. Basically, if it wasn't for you hitting the lasers, they would have probably hit you, but instead you stuttered their vehicle again in order to miss.
I don't think this vehicle's compliant with laws anymore.
I don't think we're worried about it.
I don't think these people are unless these people are enforcing the law. I don't think that's a problem at the moment.
Now you also see some blaring red and blue lights in the distance, following up on even the Nimmobile at this point.
I'm
Checks out.
assuming that those people do not work for you. Unless they do.
Oh, those are probably the zeros of this planet. It's okay.
The what?
This planet?
Oh, right, the rays. The rays of this planet.
Don't
Ray
know what
equals
rays-
0. Can we let's just establish this. Ray equals 0.
I didn't know
Does
what
Ray
rays were
equal
either.
Anna?
Who is Anna?
I
Oh,
don't know.
wait. The original?
Oh my god. Let's not worry
Jesus
about this.
Christ.
I don't care about the terminology right now. They're working for you. We need to keep going. They're on our side. That's all I care about.
Well, they're not actively trying to kill us. I wouldn't go so far as to say they're on our side.
Right now, they're on our side.
It's been 4,400 years since I've heard of the original. How is she?
We do not have time for this.
No, that's a question. Yeah, definitely
Please
for another
continue
time.
shooting the Nim cycle.
I'd like to fish for a crit.
Gonna keep
That's-
chucking my fire bolts.
If that's something I can do.
You two can both
I'll-
attack again.
I'll keep chucking firebolts. I'll chuck firebolts too.
And now we add
16.
Eliza's firebolt to the mix as well.
What a piss poor firebolt.
You hear spark up on your console. We are Nim. Hand over the Emperor.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Can I use my steady aim bullshit to give myself advantage?
Yes.
You do have 10 shots for that battery, by the way. So after 10 shots, I'm gonna have to give you the other battery.
Okay, so whatever the total is, it's going to be -1. Really? Huh.
Has to happen sometime.
Well, 14. No, wait, that's +9. That's right. That's 15. I need to update that. Oh well. 15 is the number.
As you are lining up your shots, your pistol is disintegrated out of your hand.
Oh, good thing that wasn't mine.
Well, here's the other battery. Maybe you can throw it at him. I don't fucking know. Maybe it'll blow up if it gets hit by a firebolt. I mean, we need to keep going.
Yeah, you know what? Chuck it at him. I'll shoot.
The pistol's gone.
No, I have this
No,
other
no.
battery. That's
The
worth 10
battery.
shots.
Throw the battery at him.
You have
Liz
the
and I
spare
will...
battery.
Yes.
Okay.
Liz
Free
and I will
fireball,
shoot the
please?
battery.
Liz
Okay.
and Zeroji, before that portion of it happens, though, your firebolts Both plink off more pieces of the Nimmobile, but it does seem to just regenerate itself again.
Any suggestions, Mister? I live in this decade.
The century.
We could lose them in the slums.
I mean, I thought that's where we were going. Or
I
are
mean,
you talking about an alternate route through the slums?
as soon as we get to the slums, there are many more hiding spots. Out here in the city, they can track me.
Well, direct me. I'm driving.
I thought that one over there was already doing that. Zach's directions were taking you in the direction of the slums. You just need to make it there.
Okay, well then let's keep going then.
I'm just gonna keep plinking firebolts at it.
Hoping for a more immediate assistance, but I guess we can manage until then.
Yeah, if I do see something big that I can hit with a firebolt that could fall down and obstruct the Nimmobile, then I'd probably hit that and try and hit that instead.
Well, I'll do the
You do see
battery toss if we want to try for that.
I was gonna say, you do see Frank wind up for the battery toss.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll try and time that with them to try and hit it with a firebolt.
what do I roll?
You're still throwing it, so you can use either strength or dex.
Well, am I proficient with this?
No.
Hang on, he works in IT. He's probably proficient with batteries.
Apparently I am. 23.
Alright. He lines up the throw perfectly for you guys. That battery is basically zooming right towards the front of the Nimmobile. Is that it?
That's a nat 20.
I say, why is it not gold?
It's green for me.
Green for me.
Also green for me.
That was a lot of dice that just rolled when I made this my focused window.
I'm assuming I hit it.
Yeah, you hit the
Hope
battery
so.
and knocked the Nimmobile off the road. Most of the officers pause in their pursuit to stop by the Nimmobile and contain it. As you see, as you're driving further away from it at this point, it splits off from being a vehicle and back into about 5 different NIMS with various assorted parts missing. And the officers quickly get out of their vehicles and begin to methodically try to take out the NIMS as they begin fighting each other. You hear on your console again, "We will find you. You will die, Emperor."
I missed what happened with the battery because I saw the picture that Kit posted with all the switches or things with the lights, and I don't know what that is, so I got distracted.
That's a keyboard without keycaps.
Oh, I see. That makes a lot more sense.
I literally
I
just
see
did
it
that
now.
like 2 days ago, dude.
I need to do the same. But also my computer.
I'm assuming there was no boom explosion from the battery, or was there? Did I miss that?
I got a 23 on the throw.
There was a
Liz got a
boom.
nat 20.
Yeah, I saw those things. I didn't see what happened after, or hear what happened after.
Nimmobile fell apart.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Cool.
Yeah, don't slow
And you
down.
still just hear on the center console, "You cannot escape us."
We're sure as hell gonna try.
Tell that to the pedal that is currently down as much as possible.
You just
Slightly.
kind of see the Emperor kind of trembling in fear.
Not something I would have pictured the Emperor Dark doing based on what I've heard about him 4,000 years ago. I guess
If
time
it's
changes
not
him, man.
one thing, it's another.
Time flies.
Immortality had its perks until about 1,000 years ago.
The fuck happened 1,000 years ago?
He realized he couldn't die.
His eyes kind of glaze over, and he's remembering it, but he's not speaking it out loud. You guys make the rest of the way to the slums, and you hear one more voice go, "We now have control," and your vehicle just slams on the brakes.
I hope we're wearing our seatbelts.
Oh, I always wear my seatbelt.
Can we open the doors?
As you say that, they all simultaneously lock around you.
I'm gonna break out the windshield.
I'm gonna open a door with a knife.
I'm gonna kick the windshield open. If
Right,
it's an
Xavier, give me
option.
a strength check. Fen, give me an attack.
I'm gonna do my bullshit. 26.
On a door.
It's a
Xavier,
vital
you
thing,
do manage to
alright?
kick out the windshield after a couple kicks. It takes a bit, but you are definitely aware that present Xavier is not as strong as past Xavier.
That is unfortunate.
But you do manage to still kick out the windshield.
Is that to an extent where I should be using different numbers for my rolls, or is it just
Nope.
the body is not as strong?
That's called flavoring for your roll.
I just wanted to keep it in mind.
Climbing out.
As you're climbing out, it begins to reverse. I need all of you to give me acrobatics checks.
No! Fuck.
23.
Oh wow.
All of you manage to tuck and roll out of the vehicle as it is starting to speed away.
I'm gonna make sure Dark gets out as well without any complications. In fact, I'm making sure he gets out before I do.
Give me a... Actually, hold on. Let me give a roll here. Alright. Crotchety old man roll. Let's do this. Crotchety old man is agile. Look at that.
I can't
With
see
your
it.
help, he manages... well, yeah, I rolled it privately.
Yeah.
He manages to get out of the vehicle as well.
As long as I'm not
you
speeding
break
away in the
most
car.
of his fall, as you are aware that he probably can't break his fall very easily.
Yep.
The concrete broke my fall.
Oh, well, the wizard's dead.
Twists his ankle, dead.
He landed on like a shard of glass.
Okay,
I sneezed.
we should run.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, running
How
The
time.
vehicle
fast is
slams on its brakes again and begins to speed towards you.
Oh, we need to get
Fireball.
behind a building.
I'm gonna
Your firebolt
mage hand
seems to
unplug that
not do
wire.
much.
I'm serious. I'm going to mage hand unplug that wire.
I need you to give me a dexterity check.
I hope the thing stops as fast as it's charring at us, because if it doesn't stop within 30 feet of it hitting us, we're gonna die.
20, nat 20. I have prior experience with this.
Holy shit! Well, because of the wire you unplugged, what it did last time does the same thing again this time. The vehicle immediately stops hovering, and the front dips down first. And instead of a vehicle hurtling towards you as a hover vehicle, it's now hurtling towards you as more like a cannonball.
Well, we can now probably sidestep it. I imagine they don't have control over it.
Getting out of the way.
Again, making sure the old man is out of the way before I am. Priority of making sure he does not get hit.
Maybe I should have been a mechanic.
There's no
Apparently.
machines! Best.
All right, and because of the change of speed from having it dip and turning into a slower cannonball, you all do manage to dodge out of the way of it in time. Its trajectory is still basically going forward. It crashes into the back of a building and through it, and then lands and does not seem to be functioning anymore.
Gonna do a little fist pump, and then I guess we just keep heading on foot.
Very, very nice job. We have to run.
See a little mage hand in the distance also doing a fist pump.
It fucking deserves it.
It does. That was impressive. That was good stuff.
Yeah, we running.
Magic not
Right.
useful in this day and age, my ass.
And you guys manage to make it to the slums. The old bag of bones stamina very quickly runs out as you're trying to traverse the alleyways. At this point, mostly following Frank's commands as he's trying to navigate through here. Frank, having never been to the slums, doesn't know doesn't really know the directions here, but Fen, hoping that a lot of it will match up with, basically slums of almost any town. Unfortunately, it doesn't. While it is a slums, it is a slums of a city that was very well organized at one point in time. And it's actually this organization and the height of the buildings themselves that is throwing Fen off so much and trying to orient himself. So while he cannot use his ability as fluidly here, he does still manage to get you guys to what seems to be a bar a little ways in. And as you walk into this bar, if you walk into, do you choose to walk into the bar, guys?
Getting off the street sounds good.
I will trust Fenn's word if he thinks it's a good idea, because
It'll get us off the street. We're in the slums. He said he can't be tracked in here, and it'll give me some time to redecorate his face.
Fuck it. We're
Alright.
gonna go drink. I need one.
Alright, going into the bar.
Alright. As you stroll into the bar, it is probably the most greaseball bar you've ever seen. There's a bit of broken bottles in many of the corners of the place. There is a stripper pole set up with a very ugly male dancer at it. You see a bartender doing the age-old cleaning a glass out with a rag, but the rag itself seems like it's just like coated in oil. And the bartender themselves she looks to be a younger woman. She is a human, and she looks over at you guys, but as she looks over at you guys, it's one of those things where you see her, and while she is a dirty, ratty woman herself, it also just seems like the life is just gone from her eyes. Like, this is just something she does as a habit at this point. There are a few patrons in this bar. None of them even bother to look your direction. Only one of them even seems to be paying attention to the stripper.
I'm gonna walk up, ask for 5 drinks and a table.
The vacant expression that stares back at you goes, "You're not from around here, are you? Just take a seat anywhere, goddamn." She,
5 drinks then?
do you have a certain drink in mind?
What's the cheapest thing you got?
We got swill and we got water.
I'll take 5 each. Whatever. Assuming swill is not something that I actually want, but I don't know what that is.
Like your
looks-
options are bad or worse.
I'll take
She
water.
looks at you expectantly.
5 waters is fine.
She still looks at you expectantly.
I'll Pay her.
Pay up, rich
however,
boy.
I'll pay her.
You scan the biometric on your credit chip at her device. It lights up a little bit and immediately shuts down. She goes, "I'll bring your drinks to you." And you proceed to grab a table at somewhere in this kind of ritzy, really shitty bar.
As someone who has a minuscule amount of IT experience, apparently, and technology things, is that purchase able to be tracked?
Yes.
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 1,000% yes.
Someone else should have probably paid for it because they know
None
my
of us
name.
should have paid for it.
They know my name.
They know all of your associate names too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, depends on if they've taken time to look that up since our first interaction, if enough to care.
I'm gonna get started on redecorating the Ark.
And then I would like to talk to him about where we need to go from here.
Make me look pretty, please. You know, at some point I could have blown your head off if you disobeyed me.
And I
Well,
can stab you right now.
I'm sure that our future selves will have an
Oh,
opportunity for that.
that was just so long in the past. I don't care about that shit anymore. But he's kind of just like remembering glory days, and since you're, giving him the time of day by decorating him, he's just talking while you're decorating him.
Let's snap in front of his face and say, "Where are we going next?
Huh?
Way to the spaceship.
Huh?
What's the next
The
stop?
spaceship's at the edge of the slums.
How close are we to it at the moment?"
I'd say we're about a day away on foot.
We need another vehicle.
Yeah.
Are there? I hate this so much. Is there a way we can get access to a vehicle that does not have the technology that NIMS can control?
No? They're kind of a sentient AI at this point. They could take over the planet if they chose.
Maybe we can figure out a way to disconnect the AI control from and just drive it fully manually.
The AI controls more than just the driving, though. It controls the amount of hover and everything else. It would be impossible.
Are there wheels on these vehicles, or are they strictly hover vehicles?
Every vehicle you know for the foreseeable past that Zach has been, or Zach, why do I keep saying Zach for you? Xavier has been around for, present Xavier, has no longer had wheels on it.
Is there a museum that has vehicles with wheels on it?
Probably not in the slums.
Well, these slums are built off of like an old city.
An old portion of the city, yes. At this point, it is fair to say that most of the planet is a cityscape. Like Coruscant, only closer to the ground.
How long have you been walking around this whole time? How are you get to our building?
I stepped through a psionic portal.
And how did you find the psionic portal?
I created it.
Could
I
you
am a
do that
scion.
again?
I cannot.
You fucked that one up.
Why did you go through? Why did you show up at our building?
Because I recognize presences from the past. So I had to come investigate.
I assume that you had some kind of end goal other than just
Or,
trying to not get killed.
escape plan.
Doesn't look like he got that far yet.
Is there a reason you were interested in the presences from the past?
If I knew them, they might be able to save me.
Okay, now back to the original question. What are we saving you from?
Nim,
That's very, very broad. What exactly are we supposed to do about that army?
I would appreciate it if you could take out the people behind Nim, but barring that, getting me out of this planet would be the safest bet right now.
So you
Why
voluntarily
would
showed up at our doorstep using a psionic portal, and now the goal to save you is to get us to leave. That you could have used the psionic portal for.
I can't do that anymore.
The psionic
why
portal?
would we save you?
If you do not save me, then many planets will collapse. Once you set up a utopia, it's kind of hard for them to just go away and normalize.
Where would we find the people behind Nim?
On the outskirts of my territory.
Nothing can be in the middle of town, can it? Everything's got to be on the edge.
Why do you need to be
Middle of
saved if you're
town.
immortal?
No, this is the outskirts of the portion of the universe in which I can control.
Universe.
Yes.
You know who's behind them?
Something to do with rifts. I don't know. Their name changes throughout the histories.
I'm not surprised.
I
That does actually not surprise me in any way, shape, or form.
I knew there was a reason I did not want to sign the contract.
Since they can most likely track that purchase, we probably don't want to stay here for too long.
Once Frank finishes up on the disguise kit, the Emperor just like gives you guys a dead stare and goes, "Do I look pretty?"
Sure, let's go.
That was very non-committal.
We're kind
leaving
of in a
now.
life or death situation, and we haven't had the opportunity to live for 4,000 years, so we need to leave.
Or be immortal.
If they capture me, they can undermine everything about the utopias. If they undermine the utopias, that brings about 20 different planets down to ashes in an instant.
Wait a
I
minute.
don't
What
know
kind
if
of
you...
utopia you set up if that makes things immediately dissolve? But again, we need to leave.
It's hard to make failsafes for utopias. I'm not sure if you realize this, but they're very intricately balanced things. If something falls out from under them, the riots and everything that happens tends to rot quickly. It would take many, many years for things to balance out again. I
You're right, I don't know
realized my
anything.
mistake. And you guys are basically dragging him at this point as he's trying to explain things.
Yeah.
And he goes, I realized my mistake about 500 years into creating my utopia. I realized that they were mistakes to create in the first place. The unfortunate part is that it started expanding beyond me.
Well, if we can figure out how to go back, maybe we can stop it from happening.
I
Now, we need to leave.
I lift up my shirt and turn my back to somebody. Is it there?
What? It's what there?
So you got wings?
He does
Is
not
the
seem to have the symbols that would symbolize Bahamut's wings.
Fuck.
balls?
Oh. Hang on. Zaroj or Xavier, take off your shirt.
I mixed up his name. He mixes up his own name. I feel better about mixing up his name now.
Why is everybody taking their shirts off?
Look, don't worry about it. I need to read your back real quick.
What do you need from my back?
Look, I can prepare fly for us.
How many times can you cast that?
So I can cast it on multiple people at once. Target one additional creature above, so 4th level or higher. Okay. Good news, bad news.
Explain.
Good news is, I can target multiple people at once.
How many people can you target?
1.
3 people at the same time.
That's actually is going to be fine. I'll let him get the spell from my back.
Okay, I'm gonna. Do I have time to prepare more than one spell, or do I just have time to prepare fly?
Let's do the 1 because I don't know how much time we have.
Well, it would be good to have,
If you take a short rest, that will allow you to prepare 1 spell.
We have time to take a short rest.
would also be good to prepare Featherfall for
I
us.
think it also takes like an hour to apply a disguise anyways, Reaper.
We could just do that while.
Let me check, but I think it's far less time than that.
Just because if we're flying, Featherfall is very good to have in the pocket.
And
Just saying.
I say we can have started this as we got into the bar and we sat down.
Okay,
If we're
well,
preparing spells, I could go ahead and try and prepare a spell while he's preparing fly.
Do I have the spells that I ended or that I had during the day last time as well?
it's gonna be the weirdest shit the bartender has ever seen.
That's the weirdest shit the stripper's ever seen too. Actually, most of the people in attendance at this bar right now are actually looking over expectantly at Liz. Since 2 people
She shakes
that
her
are
head.
moderately good looking
Question.
have just
Question.
lifted their shirt up.
Does Liz have both of her arms?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh, interesting. I'm
Right.
guessing that was a question you'd asked.
I can't remember if it was asked or if Miser just mentioned it.
Okay.
He
In the
mentioned it
description.
as part of like one of the first questions, I think. Before
Okay.
I had
Okay.
a chance to ask about it.
Okay, so I can do a disguise that involves moderate changes in 10 minutes or extensive changes in 30.
You'll have time to do
one are you
extensive
doing?
while he pulls stuff from my back if you want to do that.
Yeah, I'll do extensive since we're basically just going to take a short rest.
All right. If I have time for one spell, and it is fly, then I'm going to be utterly useless for anything that other than keeping us afloat.
How much can you get in 30 minutes?
Just fly
That
according to
is-
Miser. My
okay.
next priority would be Featherfall as an emergency to fly.
If you had another 30 minutes, could we get another spell?
Yeah.
Then let's try to do that, and we'll just like push time a little bit on that aspect of it, because you will need a way to protect yourselves.
And would I be able to prepare spells while he's doing spells as well?
Those of you that have spells, since you're not taking a long rest, which would be the usual way you get them back, I will allow each of you to have 2 spells for the hour.
Okay.
Or in the case of Xavier, they might potentially be smite slots if he figures out how to smite people in this world. In this
Unfortunately,
future.
I am
Okay,
going to be
I
doing
can-
something else with my spell slots.
Alright. I've prepped fly. I've prepped the other thing. I'm going to go prep a glass of Kool-Aid. I will return.
I
Right.
can prep.
That's
fly as
basically what I
well
did. I
and
made a
give us
latte.
and give us another person, since I think you said only 3 people for yours.
Oh, I have an alternative means of travel. It's okay.
Well, we've got 5 people. If you can only get 3,
Oh,
Then-
don't worry, I'll keep up.
I can be on the horse
I'll take
or vice versa.
I'll take the old man.
That
Uh,
there you go. I
you
like
guys
this.
can stay in the sky because first of all, you're gonna be able to see better, and I don't want our target just flying around in the sky. I'm gonna be better able to protect him if I'm right next to him.
Um,
If you want to have it as a backup, cool, but I think other utility stuff might be more helpful at this moment.
I feel like the person you're talking to went to go get Kool-Aid.
I'm talking to V
Hmm.
because he was thinking about taking fly also, but I'm just suggesting that we don't need to have both of them have fly. Oh. And then how are their spell slots going to work with the spells that we take?
The same.
Okay, so we just have all of them.
Mhm.
But just for those two spells. Okay.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Imagine if you're, was it a warlock or whatever? You just like get all of your spells back on the short rest.
yeah, I'll be right back. I need to grab a drink as well.
I'll take this time and go to the bathroom then.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Everyone's all like trying to prepare spells and shit, and Fenn's just busy putting makeup on.
Do what you got to do.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Trying to think of what to take.
You still got Bigby's hand?
Nope, that's level 5. That was a
Bigby's
something
hand?
Oh,
I got when I was level 20.
I've got Bigby's hand. I just don't have it prepared at the moment. But it is on Xavier's back.
Is everyone back?
Yes. I mean, I'm back.
I've been here the whole time.
Actually?
Yes.
Watching some College Humor, have you?
Game Changer's great.
That is pretty great.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I know my 2 spells. I'm ready.
I do still have a hard time getting into Brennan's D&D stuff, but all of Brennan's other stuff is usually pretty great too.
Yeah, I tried, can't.
It's because they're all so fucking out there. They're not like actual just fantasy, normal fantasy setting D&Ds. It's the Santa one and all that shit. But hey, works. Back on topic though. None of you are aware of a museum in the slums area, but it seems like that was something you were passing by. The stripper is giving both Frank and Xavier a dirty look for taking some of his business.
Sorry, I'm not trying to get anything from these people. I'm just getting stuff figured out. Does he have like a tip machine that I could tip him at?
Seems upon looking at what has been given so far, it seems like almost as if minor offerings type of deal. Like there's a beat to piss flask that's put up there. There's a small bottle of what you might assume is alcohol or something. There's like a moldy sandwich up there. These are all just things that are at the edge of his stage basically. And you do see that one of these offerings, so to speak, is in front of the one person that was actually paying attention to the stripper.
Do I have like a watch or something?
Sure, you can have watch.
I will give him the watch and say, "Not trying to take your business. Have a good rest of your day." As we're leaving.
Being this the CEO of the company, it's probably a real expensive watch too.
I imagine it's a fancy watch. Yeah.
It's expensive.
When you set that down in front of the stripper, he kind of looks at you really wide-eyed. But then as you turn around to leave, you also see that everyone else is looking at you wide-eyed. And then chaos erupts in the bar.
Oh
You are at the center of it.
fuck.
As everyone is begging and pleading for you to give out something else, some people started fighting over the watch itself, but a good majority of them came to you being too far away from their watch to legitimately try to compete for it.
All right. Can I roll a
I'm-
dice to find out how many fancy things I have on my person?
Liz is gonna sigh and cast invisibility on Xavier.
Oh, I was gonna save you a spell slot just by drawing a knife, telling everybody to fuck off.
Everyone looks around very confused when this person that just gave a very rich thing away just kind of vanishes from sight. You're still surrounded though, Xavier. And
I
it
will
takes a
try
little
to.
bit, and they kind of scratch their heads. Even the bartender's looking around like, the fuck? And they
Just gonna
disperse a
start-
little bit, just enough for you to maybe squeeze through.
I will try to squeeze through.
Give me an acrobatics check.
What if it was like, I don't know, religion? Think about it. Okay, well, that's not a good roll.
You don't have armor on, so you do get the 10.
Oh no, I don't.
You have an 8 in dexterity, don't you?
Yeah.
That's right. Heavy armor. The heavy armor penalty to that shit is a 3.5 thing. Wow, that's old.
Let me go unequip my armor real quick. Actually, just unequip all my stuff.
That's actually a good idea.
Oh, my AC is not the same anymore.
You're an HP tank, right? Totally a barbarian.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyways,
you bump and nudge a few people as you walk by them, but they kind of look back and just think that the other person that was nearby them had did it. And
perfect.
they go, and you get a couple others going, "The fuck are you doing?" type of deal as you're walking through them.
I'm gonna bite my tongue and stop myself from saying sorry as I bump into each person. Because I feel like that's something I would just do, because I'm a fucking idiot.
We should make our way out.
All right. As a CEO of a tech company, would you have had a smartwatch?
But the thing is, I'm not a techie guy. I just run a tech company.
He does print out emails.
Not all of them. I did it for one special ticket.
It's probably an antique Rolex or something.
God damn it.
Dude, that would be like a fucking 2,000-year-old antique.
We don't know when Rolexes were invented. I don't know off the top of my head.
Poor present Xavier. He's gonna be fucking just drained of all money when he when he potentially gets his life back.
Yeah, sucks for that guy, but you know, he's helping people. So that's cool, right?
I mean,
I say running away from a bar fight over a watch.
Yeah.
I'm trying, man.
All right, you guys make your way back outside the bar. You have a couple things you can do. You've brought them up. You have your ability to cast spells right now, which I assume is your option you're going to. You could search for a usable vehicle, or you could just huff it on foot. Give me perception checks, the lot of you.
I don't know
What
why
is
I
with
would
your natural 20s today, guys?
But look.
Don't worry, I'll
We're
get one at some point.
On
We're
goddamn
scared.
point.
It's almost my turn.
All right. Fen, you specifically hear this, and only you. You hear a fair distance away, because you were only traveling for a little bit to get to this bar. You assume it's actually back where that vehicle crashed into the house, or into the building, not house. That there seems to be some investigation going on there. You are not sure by what party.
Mm. We should leave. We should definitely leave.
How quickly? Because I don't know if we want to use the spell slots right now. How fast do we need to go?
Let's save the spell slots for when we need them. Let us make haste without them.
Do you want to make haste to try to look for a vehicle, or do you want to make haste to huff it?
Liz is gonna look for a car.
Liz, give me. You already gave me a perception check. I guess I can use that one. It takes you a little bit as you're meandering, and you find for a lot of like broken down vehicles as you're going. And it's not until you actually reach an alleyway about 15 minutes into your walk that you do find a vehicle that at least seems together and not completely stripped.
I will check it out to see if it will run.
As you go to check it out to see if it will run, you see that it does not have the battery cell.
Was there a battery cell in any of the other cars I walked past?
No, those are usually stripped out.
We had a battery cell once.
I
Yeah.
don't think
Wonder
the
what happened to
battery
that.
that I had was going to be sufficient for the car.
You don't know that.
I don't think it would.
You had an old timey watch.
Why do you think I'd have a fancy battery for a car?
I mean, the pistol battery might have worked. No.
Oh, we might not be able to find a working car in the slums.
Time to hoof it. You could be either figurative or literal with that statement, by the way.
I think on foot for now, so that we don't attract too much attention while we're this close to them.
We're probably attracting attention.
I'm sure we still look fancy as fuck.
I look pretty, but you guys look very, very like you do not belong here.
Right. There is that.
So, do we just, for the sake of speed and getting there quickly, do we just want to be faster and fly?
We're already sticking out, then we might as well.
Zeroji?
Yeah.
You're going to be
Not-
targeting yourself, Liz, and Fen.
Not the king? Oh, no,
No.
because you're going to carry. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, here goes my only 5th level spell slot. And just so we're clear, fly lasts for 10 minutes.
How fast do you go faster as you're flying?
Yes, 60 feet
Okay.
movement speed.
As he's getting that prepped up, I'm going to summon the horse. Find steed, baby. Because this motherfucker is going to stand out.
As you summon the horse, you don't actually summon a horse.
Oh, Fen's about to get jealous, isn't he?
It's my motorcycle, you son of a bitch!
Does it have a little sidecar?
He doesn't summon a motorcycle either. It's for lack of a better way to put it, it seems like a year 4400 Mustang.
Ah, I see what you did there.
I see. How big is the Mustang exactly?
It is only able to fit 2.
Okay. That's fine. And tracks.
Could we steal the battery pack from this and put it into the other car?
Does it unsummon? How does that work?
I assume that the battery pack might be, since it's a 400-year-old car. How old is this shit? Or is it a 4400 Mustang?
It's just in this case it would only be like 11 years old. But no, it is just like the current model of Mustang from the 4400s.
Okay.
Cool. It seems like all of the things that I made actually work.
Nice.
For
Well,
me.
I think it is time. I guess time to ride. Time to. Well, whatever.
Oh, I haven't seen this model in years. Actually, this is the newest model. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yep. Let's go.
Xavier gets behind the wheel and waits for the Emperor to get in. Doors are closed. Presses on the gas pedal to start get moving, and immediately crashes into a building about a mile down the road.
Like when you say immediately, is that literal?
So there's quite a bit of torque to it, and you pressed on the gas pedal just expecting normal what your previous car was, and was not expecting this. So yeah. However, the Steed system comes online, and it goes, I have a dumbass for a passenger. Let me take AI control, please.
As long as you can keep yourself out of the NIM system, that would be fantastic.
Destination?
I'll let him I'll let him tell you.
The spaceship at the edge of the city. That is not clear enough. I need a better destination target.
There's literally any building next to it.
7-Eleven? Confirmed. You three that are not in the vehicle see it kind of pull itself out of the rubble and then just whizzes off out of your sight nearly immediately.
Looks to Zeroji. I think you should get started on that spell so we can try and not fall.
Zeroji, your flight. You're not sure if your flight can keep up with that, man.
All right, well. Let's go. So how much is 60 feet per second?
Well, that's flying speed, and then we can dash fly, right?
That is. Oh, so yeah, if we're dashing while flying, we're going 82 miles an hour.
Well, you guys are. Fenn's going even faster.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, you're going.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
does
just.
this extra movement count for?
Oh yeah.
flying?
So
Yeah.
60 feet. Oh wait, that's per 6 seconds. Hang on. So that's 10 feet per second. My bad. Which would be 6.8 miles per hour. Okay, that's a little bit more reasonable. I forgot that you have to divide by 6 for the rounds.
Fenn's able to go 180 feet per round.
Well, if you're dashing, don't you go twice that fast?
Twice that fast, so I would go.
Fenn is able to hit 180. The other two are only able to hit 120.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 6.8 you said, right?
Action.
Per hour?
Yeah, so that would be 13.6.
For you guys, and then 19 and change for times 3, it'd be 20.4, wouldn't it?
And Xavier's probably doing well over 100.
He's doing about 342.
It's a little faster.
It could go faster, but the old man might die.
Appreciate that he's not currently dying.
But he's immortal.
I don't
By
know.
dying, I mean passed out.
Oh.
I don't know the extent of his immortality, and I'm not gonna risk that.
He's alive in the sense that his body's still functioning, but his brain's goo.
Basically, until it regenerates.
Yeah, probably Xavier can just make multiple trips and come pick us up.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I did consider that option.
as you are considering that option, destination complete.
What if I just hang on to the roof of the car?
I'm already
Can
gone.
you
almost.
hit a strength check of 40?
Not even if I got a nat 20. Because that would be a 19.
Probably not.
Fair.
Maybe one of us can squeeze into the trunk. Get a third person.
Zeroji, you cast Fly. And usually you're used to the sensation of like just being able to think about it to lift yourself up. But as you cast Fly, something about it seems different this time. And as you look at Frank's back, you see what looks like a jetpack on his back as you cast Fly on the three of you. You confirm with Eliza, and she also seems to have a jetpack on her back now.
Well, that's new.
You did cast Fly, right?
I think. Pretty sure.
The controls or
And are there hand controls somewhere?
Are there hand controls somewhere?
There are not.
up,
I-
and away?
As you think about it, Fen, you're already 50 feet in the air.
Neat.
I guess think of flying and heading in the direction.
Your jetpack seemed to be able to fly at around 60 miles per hour.
That's a little faster, but still not as fast as I'm going. Take them a little longer to get there.
Zeroji's, on the other hand, tends to, as Zeroji is trying to figure out what happened here, he caps his out at about 200 miles per hour.
One of these things not like the other.
You just see a huge torrent of magical energy just billowing out of Zeroji's back.
This is fine.
As he bolts away from you, somewhat on accident, because he was not expecting the power with this.
I try and will my mind to go faster.
For some reason, it doesn't work.
Huh. He gave us defective ones.
Rude.
Try using a 5th level spell slot.
I don't even have I don't have cantrips.
That sounds like a
You
you
all
problem.
eventually make it to a very rundown energy station that goes by the name of 7-Eleven. It is abandoned for sure, and all of the windows are broken out. It seems to have been raided, and it does not seem as if any of the energy output stations are able to do so anymore.
Okay, where's the ship?
You see the steed, and you see what's his face? Dark, Emperor Dark, come out of the passenger side of it, but you do not see Xavier.
Am I still invisible?
Maybe.
I'll drop concentration.
I guess.
It's gotta be our range. I imagine I should have fallen off a long time ago. That's funny.
I don't.
It doesn't have a
there's
range. You just cast
Yeah,
it.
Oh,
There's not a
nice.
range post cast.
Yeah, that way I
Right.
could always just have plausible deniability whenever Fen got into shit.
Yeah.
Does his dropping concentration drop the invisibility then? Yeah.
Yeah. You are now
Cool.
visible.
Perfect.
All right. And with that, the Emperor goes, I think I... where did I leave it? Oh wait, I didn't leave it here. Who had it? He starts sifting through the pockets of his garb, which are not many, and he goes for like an inner pocket, and he comes out with a device that looks basically just like a normal key fob, and he starts pressing the top button, and just off in the distance you hear a little boop boop. And he's like, oh, it's that way.
Oh, we're doing the where the fuck did I park it at the airport thing.
This is exactly what we're doing, just with the spaceship instead.
Boop, whoop. Okay, all right. Boop, whoop. All right, okay. Boop, whoop. I am one floor too low. Just had that queued up and ready.
V is on point with GIFs, man. He just goes for those. He's the GIF guy. Or the GIF guy, depending on which pronunciation you prefer.
The right one.
Alright, let's
As
head
you
towards the
get
ship.
closer to it, or what you think is closer to it, the boop boop is definitely louder now. He presses it one more time. Boop boop! He's like, oh, I think we're here. You guys don't see anything.
Yeah, but we didn't see Xavier a second ago.
How do I disable, do I need to hold on. He presses another button. You don't hear any boop weeps this time, but you do see some light beginning to appear as a landing ramp is lowered for you guys to board. There it is!
Alright, let's get on, well, before bad stuff happens.
Speaking of bad stuff happening,
Ah, shoot.
you see a red laser whiz right by the Emperor's head. It whiffs him, but it does whiz right by his head as you see a line of Nimbots just coming down one of the alleyways, walking straight towards you guys. And you just hear, we heard the bleep bleep.
Of course you did.
Time to go.
We are now leaving.
Is-
Let's get on the
Is there
ship.
like a car or something that's in the alleyway that they're coming down?
Sure.
I'm gonna cast Enlarge on it and block the alleyway with it.
You
Try and
cast
see.
Enlarge on it, and you block the alleyway for all of a second as you see when when the vehicle's enlarging, all of the 6 Nims just point their beam directly at that car, and then just melt it, and then walk through it.
Okay, onto the ship. Start pushing people on.
Everyone is on the ship. It seems like a very tiny, skiff-like ship. And it's actually kind of cramped as you guys all barrel into the entryway of the ship. And the Emperor himself just kind of looks around and goes, "Can any of you pilot this?"
I'll try and runs tries to run towards the pilot seat.
All right. Give me an intelligence check.
Man, it'd be. I guess you don't have your divinity stuff today.
And I'll flash a genius myself just in case. So, 28.
All right. Sifting through Eliza's memories, you don't find much on piloting ships. It's not really something she's ever had as a goal of hers. However, you do find in her memories Flight Simulator 4411.
Nerd.
And so you piece together with the controls that you're seeing in front of you with her playing Flight Sim 4411 enough information to be able to at least try to lift off, and it's very shaky. But during the liftoff process, you are looking around, and the NIMS are now aiming at the ship, about to fire at the helm. But just in the nick of time, you find what you assume is a shield. It's definitely something that you played around with in the game, so it's got to work in here. You press it immediately, and the lasers bounce harmlessly off the shield, but the shield itself does seem to glow red hot in that area. And almost as if you were playing the game again, you see a little percentage sign appear near that button that you just pressed that shows 93%.
Okay, gotta move.
You continue the process for lifting off and going. It takes a couple more shots. You get down to about 74% shield. And then you finally figure out the controls enough to lift off. You are now heading towards orbit, breaking into space.
Well, this is terrifying. I'm sure we'll be fine, right?
Not dead yet.
Yet. That's the key word.
Alright, now we need to go to the planet Faolu. That is where my castle is.
That's better than mine. Never mind.
Faolu. Is he the one that wants to bang what's her face?
Again with the banging! What?
I mean, it was
Look,
pretty heavily implied. I
It
mean,
was very heavily okay. No, no, it's Ryu. Okay, Ryu wants to bang Nina, but he can't while he's brood. Therefore, he wants to go back to bring back God so he can die and fuck with
That's the
6
one.
or 7 U's in it. Nina supports this so that he can take her to the bone zone. Got it.
I guess I'll try and figure out the navigation to be able to make a course to there.
A little AI voice pops up again. Now leaving planet Ryu, heading for, and it waits for confirmation. You just hear the Emperor pipe up, Planet Faolu, Emperor's Castle. Heading for Planet Faolu, Emperor's Castle. The controls very sharply jeer out of your hands, Eliza, as you are attempting to pilot or input the directions, and the AI assumes control.
Okay. I will
Okay.
let it control.
All right. So the game can stop here for the day. I would say we could also continue going, but I don't fully have things prepped because I wasn't able to work on it for like 3 hours when I was trying to. It just literally would not load for me.
Space.
So we can continue and you can move through my unfinished stuff, or we can wait until, I don't think it's next week. We won't be able to have a game next week, but the week or two after that we'll be able to continue again, and I will have it all prepared from there. Especially since I wasn't actually thinking we would have had the game this week until, we came up with that, like, a little after I sent you guys your dual DMs.
I'll let you prep just so we can press the key fob and disappear back to the original timeline.
Oh no, this one you're definitely going to be going through. Trust me.
Boy.
Okay.
Zone.
What I have planned, and it's in the multitude of directions you can go. I've got a couple things prepped in one direction. I have a couple things prepped in another direction. Depending on what way you go, it is something that could be as long as the sewers of Arkenton, or it could definitely be something kind of on the length of like visiting Bahamut's broken down temple, things like that. So just to
Yeah.
give you some length for what you guys could potentially run into.
Noted.
Personally, really hoping you guys go the Arkansas Sewers route.
I mean, this is a very cool, a different environment, so I'm not gonna complain about. the
I'm
sewers.
enjoying myself.
I want my bow back, but I'm still having fun.
I unplugged the car.
I did like the car, except for the one small bit where I crashed. That wasn't as cool. I've got to be honest.
Immediately wrecked.
To be fair, the Mustang's not damaged at all.
That's good. I'm glad.
You
I
also
can
left
probably,
it back there.
Well, as long as it can't fly. It's not like it's concentration. I guess I can dismiss it. I'll do that. It's just like a soft thank you as we like fly off into space. I'm glad the horse can't talk.
Yeah, I was talking to you though.
No, the horse. I'm glad the horse can't talk from the past.
I don't know
Is
why.
it-
I just love giving summon pets that have the ability to communicate asshole personality.
The horse couldn't communicate. I could still hear him calling me a dumbass.
You can communicate with your horse.
Oh,
Yeah, you
that's
can actually
funny.
communicate with your horse.
I thought I could like give it commands. I didn't think I could like talk to it. I guess I don't know how that works.
It understands
we can communicate with each
a
other
language of your choice, I'm pretty
telepathically.
sure.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't go into specifics. It gains the ability of one language of your choice that you speak. Okay. It's like a novel of text, so I don't remember most of it.
I was a bit sad that the freaking Foundry froze on me because I was in the process of like putting in the lights and everything. But I guess now that I have extra time, I can actually go the extra mile and put in literally all of the doors that I was gonna skip out on.
uh,
As well as not come up with mobs out of my ass and actually have some plans for mobs because I couldn't put those in either. I was still thinking about that when we got to the game.
Oh, what mobs am I gonna use? Who fucking knows? I don't.
It's basically what it was because I have ideas for what I want to use, but I like actually integrating them into the map, especially since you know, I have the ability to use things from the future. Ooh, I'm still wasn't deciding. One map, the shorter map, actually is decided on. So if you did run into that one, which is probably what I was going to toss you at, if we did keep going, it would have been that one, even if I didn't have other things of that map prepared yet. But the bigger maps, I don't know yet, because it's got to be something that 4 commoner health type people can live through.
Oh, that's noted. Ooh. Those are danger numbers.
Yeah. Guess we're basically glass cannons without the actual cannons.
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
almost don't have the glass.
We're just a lit fuse. Nothing happens. But we're there.
And you've probably got one of the shittiest escort quests going on right now ever.
Oh
I-
no, we're
At the
escorting
time
an
of
asshole immortal that what tried to kill us before?
almost successfully killed us, one of us, and still will after we get back.
Yeah. Still processing how. Why are we helping him?
Because it sounds like if he dies, the utopia falls apart, and a lot of people will die as a consequence.
And that's our problem. How 4,000 years in the
They're
future?
Well,
still
see,
people.
yeah,
You change the
I'm not.
past, you
I'm
change
not
the
on that boat.
future.
What
I don't
I'm
know that we're
hoping
changing
for
the
is that we
past.
can abuse his trust here to change the past by finding out his weakness from the future.
He already started talking about the fact that he regrets making the utopia in the first place. I'm sure he's going to be cooperative at some point.
Right. So we're using this so that way we can kill him in the past.
Don't make it sound like manipulation.
That's exactly what it is.
It is,
That's
and I'm
not-
all here for it.
That might be what you're doing. That's not what I'm trying to do.
Okay, well, you can imagine it however you want. We are going to take full advantage of this old man.
Don't like that statement, but
It's accurate.
I think that's why he said "but."
I don't like that statement, but we're still gonna.
I mean, if he regrets the utopia thing, we could probably ask him what we could tell him or give him in the past to get him to do something different.
True.
Maybe turn
You're
him into an
starting-
ally instead of an enemy.
You're starting to use your brain, and it sounds like that's not what they're trying to do. So
But we are using our brains, just in a different fashion than you.
Use my murder tools.
I decided not to attack a cop today. I chose not violence. Aren't you proud of me? Are you not proud of me?
if only the bar were so low.
I have a question. Is this a proud of Zeroji or a proud of Kit moment here?
Yes.
Call me, call me. It's kind of the same.
I'm not gonna comment on that at the moment because it's
Be proud of
What do
me.
you guys think of the Zero versus Nim war?
Shit's fucked.
Yeah, this is all fucking.
I mean, yeah, as much as I would love for this future not to be the one that exists, yeah, it sucks. I cannot confirm that we're gonna succeed in our quest, so this might still happen, which is why I care about these people's lives.
Yeah. This utopia, not utopia thing seems kind of suspect.
Only a little suspect.
I'm.
Oh, I spelt Nim wrong. Oops.
I only wish it didn't take 4,000 years for Swords of the Rift to finally get the chance to whack this old man.
Love that statement.
Look,
They're
we're
also
just
not
taking
called the Swords of the
advantage
Rift
of
anymore.
him, and we're going to.
Can you
Yeah.
stop saying that?
No, we are taking advantage of this old man. And you can't stop me.
Such
I
a
think
fucking...
this old man's taking advantage of us.
Probably.
He did show up at the office and basically just force us to help him because
Well,
'Cause
when a
I'm not
body
gonna-
is
kinda go-
chucked through your windows, you don't get much choice.
well, the reason that happened was because he was there.
Which I still don't understand why he decided to teleport to us instead of to safety.
With no backup plan, yeah, he seems like a little bit of a dumbass now.
Have you
Going
not heard him talking
senile.
for the past hour, bro? Yeah, he's insane.
You try living for 4,400 years. See what it does to your constitution and
I
mindset.
plan to live for 4,400 years.
Immortality, bad thing.
Immortality is a goal.
You're just lucky he's not pulling a Professor X from Logan on your asses.
I don't remember what he does in that movie.
Blows up because can't control psychic energy anymore.
Have I seen Logan?
Does his head just explode?
No, it's just he can't control his psychic powers anymore. So like he just has episodes where his senility just like starts affecting literally everyone around him.
Huh.
So people just start popping like balloons around him, except for Logan because Logan has healing factor.
It's some fucked up shit.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Sometimes
you
you just
can
gotta put the old man down.
see the movie called Logan, or you can read the comics called Old Man Logan.
Really stretched on that one.
Right? I wonder what they're going to do with Professor Xavier when Patrick Stewart